Barack Obama's presidency and Donald Trump's rise in American politics represent one of the most fascinating clashes in modern U.S. history. When people recall the sharpest political exchanges of the last decade, one moment frequently resurfaces: a single, cutting line delivered by Obama in front of a live audience that seemed to crystallize the tension between the two men. That moment, often replayed and analyzed, did not occur in isolation. It was a culmination of years of political maneuvering, media spectacles, personal grievances, and competing visions for America. To understand why Obama's remark resonated so deeply, it is essential to revisit the broader context in which it was made, the personalities involved, and the historical consequences that followed. Barack Obama first emerged on the national stage in 2004, with his keynote address at the Democratic National Convention instantly propelled him into the spotlight. Just 4 years later, he became the first African-American president of the United States, elected on a message of hope and change. His eloquence, calm demeanor, and ability to connect with voters gave him a reputation as a once-in-a-generation communicator. By contrast, Donald Trump was already a household name, but for entirely different reasons. Known as a real estate mogul, celebrity businessman, and host of The Apprentice, Trump cultivated an image rooted in brash confidence, wealth, and showmanship. Their paths might never have collided so directly, if not for Trump's decision to insert himself into the political conversation during Obama's first term, particularly by amplifying the so-called birther conspiracy theory. The birther movement, which falsely claimed that Obama was not born in the United States and therefore ineligible for presidency, gained traction among certain segments of the public. Trump, leveraging his celebrity platform, became its most prominent advocate. Repeatedly, he went on television and social media to cast doubt on Obama's legitimacy, demanding that the president release his birth certificate. For many observers, this campaign was racially charged, designed to undermine the credibility of America's first black president. For Trump, however, it became a way to gain attention, consolidate support among certain conservatives, and test the waters for his own political ambitions. Obama, while often choosing to rise above the noise, eventually decided to address the matter directly. In April 2011, the White House released Obama's long-form birth certificate, confirming once and for all that he was born in Hawaii. That same week, Obama attended the annual White House Correspondents Dinner, a high-profile event where presidents traditionally deliver humorous speeches poking fun at themselves, the media, and political opponents. Trump was in attendance, sitting prominently in the audience. It was there that Obama delivered a series of jokes aimed at Trump, culminating in one particularly biting remark that would echo far beyond the ballroom. With impeccable timing and a calm smile, Obama thanked Trump for taking the time to be there, then said that Trump could finally focus on more pressing matters, like deciding whether to handle an issue on Celebrity Apprentice by firing Gary Busey or Meatloaf. The crowd erupted in laughter, and cameras captured Trump sitting stone-faced, visibly unamused. That line, seemingly lighthearted but cutting, was more than just a joke. It symbolized the power dynamics at play. On live television, with the political and media elite watching, Obama publicly mocked Trump's stature, reducing his celebrity persona to a punchline. Many commentators have described that moment as a turning point, one that may have fueled Trump's determination to seek the presidency. Whether or not that single line was a catalyst, it undeniably exposed the deep animosity between the two men, highlighting the clash between Obama's wit and composure and Trump's pride and sensitivity. To appreciate the significance of this moment, one must examine the contrasting communication styles of Obama and Trump. Obama, trained as a lawyer and community organizer, favored careful phrasing, structured arguments, and subtle humor. His speeches often carried a sense of rhythm and narrative, designed to uplift while making a logical case. Trump, on the other hand, thrived on blunt statements, repetition, and provocation. His language was intentionally simple, direct, and geared toward creating sound bites that resonated emotionally with his audience. When Obama used humor against Trump, it was not only entertainment. It was a strategic demonstration of rhetorical dominance. Trump's inability or unwillingness to laugh at himself in that moment reinforced the contrast between their personas. The Correspondents' Dinner line did not exist in isolation, however. Obama's entire performance that night served to dismantle Trump's political posturing. By mocking the birther controversy and joking about Trump's television show, Obama managed to both dismiss the conspiracy and belittle its chief promoter in a matter of minutes. For the audience, it was a masterclass in comedic timing and presidential confidence. For Trump, it was a public humiliation. Reports from those close to Trump suggest that he stewed over the incident for years, viewing it as a defining moment when he was laughed at by the political establishment. Some insiders even argue that this event directly contributed to his resolve to run for president in 2016, determined to prove his critics wrong. Beyond personal animosity, the exchange also symbolized deeper cultural and political divisions in America. Obama represented a cosmopolitan, multicultural vision of the country, grounded in progressive ideals and an embrace of global interconnectedness. Trump positioned himself as a champion of a more populist, nationalist, and confrontational vision, appealing to voters who felt left behind by globalization and alienated by political correctness. The Correspondents' Dinner moment, though comedic on the surface, foreshadowed the larger battle of narratives that would dominate the next decade of American politics. Obama's joke highlighted Trump's lack of seriousness in the political realm, but Trump later turned that very perception to his advantage, branding himself as the outsider willing to challenge elites. The aftermath of the event provides further insight into its importance. Over the next few years, Trump escalated his political activities, continuing to question Obama's policies and credibility. At the same time, Obama's presidency faced the challenges of a divided Congress, foreign policy crises, and the ongoing economic recovery from the Great Recession. While Obama remained a polished statesman, Trump embraced his role as provocateur. Their clash became a recurring subplot in the American political drama, one that culminated in Trump's shocking victory in the 2016 presidential election. In many ways, that win represented not only a repudiation of Obama's legacy by certain voters, but also a personal vindication for Trump after years of being mocked. When reflecting on Obama's savage line, analysts often note how comedy can shape political discourse. Humor has long been a tool for presidents to connect with the public and disarm opponents. Abraham Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, and John F. Kennedy all used humor effectively. Obama, too, recognized its power, especially in moments like the Correspondents' Dinner. But humor also carries risks. What is funny to one audience may be perceived as condescending to another. In mocking Trump, Obama delighted the Washington elite, but he may have inadvertently reinforced the populist narrative that Trump would later exploit, that elites look down on ordinary Americans and dismiss their champions as jokes. This raises an intriguing question. Did Obama's one-liner help or hurt in the long run? For many Democrats and admirers of Obama, it was a cathartic moment, a president deftly handling a baseless conspiracy by ridiculing its loudest promoter. For Trump supporters and those skeptical of Obama, it became evidence of arrogance, fueling resentment against the establishment. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. The line was effective in the moment, a rhetorical knockout that silenced Trump in the room. But in the broader arc of history, it may have contributed to Trump's eventual rise, turning personal embarrassment into political motivation. Even after leaving office, Obama has occasionally commented on Trump's presidency, usually with his trademark mix of restraint and subtle jabs. Trump, in turn, has repeatedly sought to undo Obama's policies, from health care to climate agreements, often framing his actions as direct repudiations of his predecessor. Their relationship has remained one of mutual disdain, each representing the political antithesis of the other. The Correspondents' Dinner exchange remains emblematic of this rivalry, Obama using humor to assert dominance, Trump responding with determination to outlast the laughter. Over a decade later, the viral clips of that night continue to circulate online, captivating new audiences. Younger generations encounter the footage on social media, often with captions emphasizing how Obama destroyed Trump with a single line. Yet those who lived through it know that the true story is more complex. It was not simply about a joke, but about what that joke represented. A moment when two contrasting visions of America collided under the bright lights of national attention. The fact that people are still discussing it years later underscores its lasting cultural resonance. When considering why Obama's remark still matters, it helps to see it as part of a larger tradition of presidential rhetoric. Leaders have always used words not only to persuade, but also to define opponents. A single phrase can encapsulate an entire political struggle. Franklin Roosevelt's fireside chats, John Kennedy's inaugural address, Ronald Reagan's quips, Bill Clinton's empathy. These moments shape public memory. Obama's jab at Trump belongs to that tradition, remembered less for its humor and more for what it signified. It was a verbal equivalent of a chess move, reminding the audience who was president and who was merely a provocateur. Yet history proved that the game was far from over. As America continues to wrestle with divisions that both Obama and Trump embody in different ways, the Correspondents' Dinner moment remains a symbol of the intersection between politics, media, and personality. It illustrates how a single line, delivered in the right setting, can ripple through history, influencing perceptions and perhaps even altering the course of events. Whether one views it as Obama's finest comedic moment or as the spark that fueled Trump's political rise, it undeniably stands as one of the most memorable intersections of humor and politics in modern times. In conclusion, the story of Obama's savage line to Trump is not merely about a joke told at a dinner. It is about two figures whose rivalry has defined an era, about the power of words to wound and inspire, and about the unpredictable consequences of public humiliation. What began as a laugh in a ballroom became part of the larger narrative of American politics, a narrative still unfolding today. Obama's wit and Trump's reaction encapsulate more than personal animosity. They reflect the clash of visions that continues to shape the nation. And as history shows, sometimes a single sentence can echo longer than an entire speech, leaving an imprint that outlasts even presidencies.